than a normal run-of-the-mill spider.
And it's pretty good size.
Oh,
It is. Do you remember the spider in the cave?
yes.
Maybe around that size, I believe.
That's disconcerting.
But possibly delicious.
Do we need to shoot them then?
Uh, I do not know that any good can come of it watching us for too long. And I would say that it is odd that this is the second spider we have seen while approaching a dragon. I don't know that there is a connection, but it is unusual.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Does anybody speak spider?
At this point, Harper kind of pipes up and says, "Are are you being followed by a spider? It's looking like."
I mean, I think it is we are being followed. I don't think it's going to leave you alone, Harper.
Well, I'm just making sure. I mean, I've seen things like this. There's these giant spiders, as they call them. There's a few different breeds out there. They don't usually display this kind of activity. I was curious as to why they would be following you.
They appear to be the nosy variety.
Well, have you all had run-ins with spiders or something like that?
Nope, never seen one.
Well,
I mentally communicate to the original party, wondering if Loth is checking up on us.
I look over at Surthus and kind of like put my finger to the side of my nose and point at him and nod my head.
Let's kill it. Let's rip this guy's house and burn it.
I don't know. What do you? Kind of watching all this go down, like, because she can't hear what you're saying in through the mind and everything, but she obviously sees something pass between the two of you. Harper does. She has a pretty high passive perception, but she says, "Well, just let me know if there's anything I need to know. I'd rather not be bitten. As I've said before, I'm in this to find things, not to fight things."
You have made that very clear.
Yes, thank you. And she says, "Come along, Jimmy." And she takes the arm of the metal child and continues walking forward.
His name is not Jimmy. What are you doing?
She just gives me a look and says, "Well, you hadn't given him a name."
We haven't this. You don't take care of your grandfather. You are not in a position to tell me how to raise a family.
I take care of my grandfather very well, thank you. He may be quite a bother sometimes, but almost every penny I make goes to his upkeep, I'll have you know.
Metal Child, come over here, please. We don't talk to strangers.
Metal Child kind of looks back and forth and slowly walks over to you. Anyway, so did you all want to do something about the spider? Like I said, it doesn't seem to be getting any closer. It's just maybe 30, 40 feet off, climbing amongst the trees, trying to keep hidden while watching all of you.
Well, I feel as though we may have been putting off dealing with a certain issue that we may need to handle at some point, confront an old friend of ours Uh, I don't know how or when or what we should do. I don't know if trying to kill the spiders is going to be the best. I mean, or I don't know. I shrug my shoulders. I don't know.
Personally, I did not find myself thinking that I would be agreeing with Crom, but I think this is a problem we should deal with now before we have to deal with it later.
All right. I mean, I don't have a better idea.
If nothing else, it is delicious, probably.
So are we a little bit outside of town? We're kind of like out in the wilderness by this point.
Oh yeah, I mean you're out in the wilderness. For the first part of this journey, you're following the main kind of trading route here in the swamp, which is fairly passable, and that's why you've been trading. You've been passing up traders as you go along, and you've been making fairly good time. The spider that's been following you, kind of through the treetops, is a little bit off the beaten path into the swamp proper, and you are you're several hours outside of town now.
Do we see how many there are? Or do we know? Or what do we have an idea of?
Well, let me think. At least twice in the last hour, Zippel has seen more than one set of eyes. So
Okay.
it might be more than one. It sounds like.
I'm going to put my hand on somebody's shoulder to guide me and go into Casilda, go up high, and try to observe them from there and see if they kind of notice or pay mind to my owl.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check with Casilda's stats. Did we lose you? We lost Sean while he was making a roll. Okay. He'll be back, I'm sure.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was 12.
12. Okay. As your eyes kind of glaze over, and Casilda flies up, seeing through her eyes. She flies, just up over the trees and kind of going in and out of the branches and the tops. She's able to find what looks like a small group of very large spiders. Not as big as the one y'all had fought in the cave, but still at least as big as some of the ones y'all had seen in Runeshak, in the abandoned city of the Dark Elves in the Underdark. If you remember, there was quite a few different sizes of spiders that had been involved there, but these are medium size, maybe the size of a dog. There's 3 of them, and they don't. Well, actually, let me see. Is Casilda trying to be stealthy?
I mean, just flying like a regular bird, I guess.
Okay. Let me see something. Yeah, and one of them, as Casilda comes near and it is kind of in the area, its eyes and whole body kind of snap around suddenly, as it looks like it's ready to attack. Casilda's still a good 10 feet off, so it doesn't immediately do anything.
I would fly up a little higher, try to get away from them. But I'm going to try 2 things. First thing is I'm going to use Will I do that? Yeah, probably gonna freak everybody out. But I'm I'm gonna use thaumaturgy, whatever it is, to make my voice louder.
Okay.
And essentially, in Infernal, I'm gonna go, "Oi, spiders!"
Okay. Are you trying to get a reaction out of them? Are you trying to scare them?
I'm trying to get some kind of reaction. out
Okay.
of them.
Oh, well, I mean, just as you speak suddenly very loudly, as they're watching you, through Casilda's eyes, you see all three of them kind of twitch. They don't move or anything, but they definitely like react sharply to your loud voice.
Might be just a jump scare.
It's hard to know. I mean, you can make an insight check if you want. It'll be a disadvantage. You haven't talked to a lot of spiders. And also, you're trying to see this through a bird's eyes.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Okay.
Disadvantage. No.
Okay. Yeah. No. You're not sure if they were reacting to just the sound or the language. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Although, sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, you had unmuted, so I thought you were saying something. Sorry. As you all are trying to figure this out, it's almost like they don't like turn to look at each other or anything, but just the way they kind of every once in a while one of them will tap the other one with one of its front legs on the head or on the paw on the leg or mandible or something like that. Kind of tap a few times, and then the other one will tap it back. They seem to be trying to communicate with each other.
Okay. I will go back into my, my regular sight and communicate this non-verbally to everybody, to our group. Anyhow.
Okay.
So there's like three of them?
Not Harper.
So not Harper. So Harper just like sees your eyes glaze over and is like, "What the heck?" And yes, you hear Serthis tell you everything. There's three of them. They reacted when he just kind of spoke. They also reacted to Casilda. All this.
Do you want me to try Draconic?
I don't know. Are we just gonna light these bastards up?
Yes.
Light them up.
And I hold up finger guns.
All right. I mean, at this point, between seeing where Casilda flew off to see them and things like that, it's even though they were kind of camouflaged before, you have a really good idea of where they are in the treetops. There's three of them amongst the branches of a large live oak, about 15 feet up. Just watching you. They're about 30 feet away. So, if you're going to light them up, you know where they are. What would you like to do?
I can pull out my blazing longbow, because if they're from Loth, they deserve to be toasted.
Okay. Dang it, I can't get D&D Beyond to work today. I don't know why. In any case, do you want to attack them?
Yes, I will, and I'll use Assassinate, which gives me advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn in combat yet. And any hit I score is that's surprised on a creature that's surprised is a critical hit, so I'll use that too.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for attack.
All right, that was my first one, and that was a 17. So can I roll again since I have advantage?
I mean, it hits, but you can roll advantage just to see if you get a crit.
Okay. That was a 20. Math when I first wake up. 25.
Either one of those will hit.
Okay.
So go ahead
And
and
then-
yeah.
Let me figure out my damage here. 1d8 plus 5.
And
So my
remember,
damage is 9.
is that including the fire damage from it?
Um,
Because the blazing longbow does have that ability.
oh, that's right. The
Yeah.
blazing longbow does get an extra. Let's see. I think it's a D10.
Is it a D10?
Yeah, one. Yeah, it's 1d10. So.
Okay, so roll that.
Ooh, nice. All right, so 4, 12, 17 damage.
17 damage. All right, so y'all watch as in one smooth motion, Roland takes the longbow off his back and puts an arrow on and pulls and releases, and it just like smacks right in between the mandibles as of one of these spiders in the tree as it bursts into flame, and you can hear this kind of shrieking going on. Yeah, they all start to seem to want to. They don't move very far right now, but they start to scramble kind of higher in the tree. Is anybody else going to do anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna pop off a spell.
Okay.
I'm gonna. So that one that she burned is still alive.
Yeah, it's still alive. It's looking pretty hurt. Like it's as the other two start to scramble higher, it's like having trouble getting up into the higher branches.
I'm going to cast Firebolt at the one that Roland hit.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Let's see. That is a 25.
That definitely hits. What's the damage on that?
The damage is going to be 4. Wow, 4.
4. As this just
4 fire damage.
yeah. As the bolt of fire just streaks out into it, yeah, it burns into kind of the abdomen area, and now it's smoking like it, and like just little flames licking from two different parts of the body now, as it once again gives that kind of high pitched screech. Yeah, and we're not like they don't seem to be trying to attack you; they seem to be trying to escape. So, which is why we're not going into initiative yet. But anybody else want to do something?
I'm going to Sacred Flame that same one.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
No, you have to.
Oh, it's
make
a save.
dexterity.
Huh? It's a dex save. Yeah.
We're making an example out of this one.
It is.
Yeah.
That is a 7. So I'm guessing that fails.
That does indeed. So that's 1d8.
All right.
And that's 2 damage. Oh, good.
And that's divine. That's whole.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, radiant. That's the word. So you see this kind of slightly different colored flame lance out and start burning it. It's still alive, but it seems it's like kind of like having these jerky movements now, and it doesn't seem long for this world. As the
How
other
far
two,
away?
it's still about 30 feet off, and it's up in the tree. The other two, at this point, have climbed about 10 extra feet up in the tree.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Mind Spike on one of them.
Do you on the one of the other two?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's a Wisdom save.
That is 13.
And did a 15.
Okay. Cool.
Alright, let's see. The fuck? Just saw it. Oh, there it is.
All right, what do we got?
That's a 3d8. That's 18.
18. And that's psychic damage, right?
Let's see here. Yes.
All right. I can't tell
And-
because my internets aren't working. All right, weird. Like part of my
Does-
internet's working, but part of it isn't. It's weird. Sorry.
On a failed save,
Uh-huh.
I also know the target's location for an hour. As long as they're on the same plane of existence.
Okay. As that energy kind of burns into one of the other two, because you were doing one of the other two, right? Yeah. You hear another one of those high-pitched shrieks. This one a slightly different kind of timbre, but and you see one of the other two that's scrambling up into the tree kind of falter and kind of fall over a good-sized branch. Okay. Anybody else want to do anything right now?
I'm gonna pull out my regular longbow and shoot the third spider that hasn't been attacked yet.
How many?
How many longbows do you have, Roland?
I only have one. Well, I have two. I have my regular I have one longbow, which can turn into. No, I have two longbows. I have the blazing longbow and the regular longbow.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Roland just has a caddy behind them with like a bunch of bows.
I do.
There's also a rifle sticking out of it because yeah.
With the number 4, the yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for the one that hasn't.
Oh,
escaped.
natural 20.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Go ahead and roll.
So that.
Yeah, roll your damage dice and double the dice.
Okay. D8. I'm glad I get to double it. All right. So that's gonna be 7 damage.
7 damage altogether.
Yeah.
Okay. You. The one that had gotten highest in the tree that hadn't been yet killed or hurt. None of them killed yet. You hear another one of those kind of this shriek kind of cut off suddenly, like just kind of a yelp almost. So you hit it. None of them has died yet, although the one that's still on fire is pretty sad looking. And like I
Okay.
said, they are still not trying to attack you. They're still trying to just get away.
I'll wants to use her firebolt. Or try to.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I guess I'm the most hurt one. If it's in range, I think I have a pretty good range.
It's definitely in range. Yeah. It's not very far away.
All right. Fuck.
Do you know what to add?
Well, I'm supposed to add my wisdom plus proficiency, so yeah.
All right.
9 does not hit, does it?
9 does not hit. No.
Okay.
This time it hits the trunk of the tree right next to the spider, and the tree kind of bursts into flame a little bit right there.
Cool. I'll try one more time
Okay.
with my extra attack.
Yep.
Okay. $13?
13 just misses.
Okay. I'm out, y'all. Somebody else try.
Right at this
Oh.
point, the one that had been furthest away up in the tree makes a flying leap to the next tree over. It's a good 20 feet over, and then lands in it. So this one now is 50 feet away from you. The other two have not really gotten to the point where they can do that, although they are still trying to scramble up their tree.
I'm gonna shoot my crossbow at the one furthest away.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's a 17 plus 3 is a 20.
20, that hits definitely.
So it's 1d8 minus 1, but I have this. I can infuse my weapon strikes with divine energy for an extra 1d8.
Okay.
That works on ranged, right?
What's the ability?
It's divine strike. At 8th level, you gain the ability to infuse weapon strikes with divine energy.
Yeah.
Once on each of your turn, hit a creature with a weapon attack, cause the attack to deal 1d8 extra radiant damage.
Yeah, it doesn't specify melee weapons, so yeah.
So that's 3 plus 3 is 6.
Okay. So 6 damage. You hear it, like it's getting further away, but as you watch, and as the rest of you watch, and Zippo brings out his crossbow and fires it, the bolt seems to have some type of energy like wrapping around it as it goes, and it just sinks into the back of this furthest away spider now. And you they're starting to like vocalize these same kind of hissing shrieks and stuff more, even when you're not hitting them, and they sound kind of panicked and don't know what to do. But yeah.
I want to shoot with my longbow, the one that's on fire again.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright, which one? Natural 20 again.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Okay.
Double your dice.
That would be 19 damage.
19 damage. All right. As you hit it, it's barely trying to kind of skitter up this tree as this one just passes all the way through the part of the body right behind the eyes, and it just kind of stays still for a moment and then peels off the tree backward and lands with a thud into the kind of wet, mossy ground below. The flames that had been burning are kind of immediately smothered by its own weight as it lands on its back, and yeah, it's very dead. In the meantime, the one that had gotten furthest away is still scrambling further and further away. It's getting harder to see it. It's got more cover now amongst the trees, so it might be harder to attack. The other one that was kind of hurt by the mine spike is getting towards the top of that first tree.
How far away is the first one?
The first one, it's a good 50 feet.
Is it the furthest one away? That one?
Yeah, the furthest one away is 50 feet away.
And has it been hit yet?
Oh, it's been hit a couple times, but once by a arrow, I think. Yeah, once by an arrow, once by a crossbow bolt.
Okay, I'm going to cast. I'm going to use a. Let's see. Let's go with a second level magic missile.
All right.
Yeah, I'll do that. Second level magic missile.
And magic missiles just hit, don't they?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
That is so.
Okay, roll for damage.
So it's going to be 3 and then plus 2 more times.
4, right? 4. Here. Oh, you're doing,
Yeah.
oh, you're doing that one.
That is What that?
Just roll real dice.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to use the digital dice, but it wasn't
Okay.
going right. So I need 5d4.
Oh wow.
Eight, 12, 13, 17, 22 force damage.
All right. So his chomp puts both hands forward, and like he is in Dragon Ball, and he's like Kamehameha, and he five of these bolts of kind of these rainbow colors, kind of just spinning around each other, lance out and into this far spider, and it just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they just all like burn into it, and it barely has enough time to make this kind of cut off shrieking before it also just drops to the forest floor. The last spider in the tree, just about 30 feet off, is getting frantic in its escape attempts, and is making a jump for another tree. As it does, it actually doesn't quite make it and falls down also to the forest floor, taking a point of damage. And now is just running away along the kind of wet floor of the forest here, kind of jumping up onto the logs and trying to get over little pools of water and things like that.
How far away is it?
Because it tried to jump and fell, it lost a bit of its movement speed, so it's maybe 40 feet off, maybe a little more.
I'm going to cast Fairy Fire on it,
Okay.
so we can keep an eye on where it is.
Okay. All right.
Is that
You
the
have
one that
to
was
make a
blind
dex.
spiked or one of the other ones?
Yeah, it's a dex saving throw, right? Yeah. That's a 12. What did you say there, Sean?
I was wondering if that was the one that was mind spiked or if it was one of the ones that died already.
It is the one that is mind spiked, yeah. It is the same. Okay. So it failed its save, I'm guessing, with the 12.
Yeah.
All right. So you can see now in the kind of low light of the swamp here, suddenly this kind of glowing outline of a spider trying to kind of half scramble, half limp away. All right. And seems to be kind of outlining everything around it. Yes. Okay. Does anybody else want to do anything else? Otherwise, it's going to continue trying to scramble away.
I'll try to just, but I don't think I'm gonna hit it.
With Firebolt?
Yeah.
How many
that
fireballs
was-
do you have?
Oh wait, do I have a? Oops, I'm sorry. Do I have a charges on it?
There
Like
is.
one.
There are. I think there's. I can't remember how many charges there are. Yeah.
For rest or something?
It shows it. It shows it on the thing.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's okay. It happens.
It's got 2 charges. It's got 2, so I used those 2.
You already used it though. Yeah. Okay.
Never mind.
All right.
How many spiders are left?
There's just the one that's trying to kind of get away. It's outlined. It's limping and outlined in this kind of white kind of flame light, and very easy to see.
How far away is it?
At this point, like about 40 feet, 45 feet, something.
I'll shoot another firebolt at it.
Okay, you will be attacking at advantage because, fairy fire.
Alright, that's A 14 and a 19.
I mean, either of those would hit.
Alright. And that's gonna be 5 fire damage.
Okay. As the one last jolt of fire hits it, this poor third spider just kind of slumps forward into a puddle and just kind of skids for a foot or two into the mud before it stops. Just a little bit of smoke rising. And all three of the spiders are dead.
Alright.
Hunter or Harper, looking at all three or all of the five of you, says, "Well then, should we continue on, or would you like to continue hunting varmints here in the woods?"
Is there a spider body nearby that like has fallen?
Yeah, there is a nearby the first spider that died, the one that was hit first, in fact, is only it's under the tree that they were all in at first, about 30 feet off the main kind of track here going through the swamp.
We should leave a note on the dead body saying, "Don't fuck with us. Turn around now."
I would at least like to go check out the body if it's not like just charred, indistinguishable,
I'm gonna.
just to see if it, I don't know, perhaps has the mark of loth on it, or if it looks otherwise tamed, or like it was some sort of servant or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I would
Like
like to go
any
with
indications that it's not just a random wild spider.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with him and try to collect the hearts.
Okay. So, Chomp, make an investigation check. And then Zippo, make a medicine check.
I got a 12 on investigation.
Okay. I mean, these look like they're not the exact like species of giant spider you've come across before, but they look like a giant version of different garden spiders you've seen.
Yeah.
I got a 14.
14. Okay. Let me see something. Okay. With a 14, the first one that you go into, it seems burned already beyond what you'd be looking for anything as usable. The second two, you are able to get what you are pretty sure is the heart out of it. It's different than a lot of the anatomies that you've come across, but you have gotten the heart out of another spider before, so you have a good idea of where it is. So you get 2 out of 3.
Can I ask Ziplo where their poison sacks are and cut them off and take them with me
Kind of a
if they
personal.
have poisons?
Yeah, I mean that was a bad joke, but
I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
so that's kind of a personal question about them, their sack locations. But yeah, I'll
Oh
look.
man. Okay. I just want their poison sacks.
Everybody's after the sacks.
Tell
All
you-
you rogues are all the same.
Anyway, sure. If so, you're asking Zippo to help you?
Yeah, because I'm giant spider anatomy is not my strong point.
Okay, Zippo, would you like to help Roland find the poison sacks?
I would be pleased to help you.
Okay, so
Thank you.
go ahead and roll at advantage then, Margaret, for a medicine check.
All right. My first one was a 17. And my second one was a 6.
Okay, so 17. Yeah, I mean, you're able to get... Let me see something here. How many poison sacks does she get? You're able to get 3 viable poison sacks. I don't want to use that word anymore. But yes.
Is glands any better?
There you go. I mean, slightly, but not much. You were able to get 3 spider poison glands off of the spiders here. Out of a total of 6.
I'm gonna burn the hearts up.
Okay. Easy enough to do. And actually, technically, these are venom glands, you know, because they inject it.
Yep.
But it's everything in D&D is called poison, so
Yeah, they don't really have venom damage.
yeah, it doesn't happen.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, technically these are venom glands, but D&D doesn't have
Yeah.
venom damage, so they're
Roll a pedantic check.
Let me see. It's a natural 20. Sad. In any case, there are rules for giant spider venom online, and we can find it for you.
Great.
At this point, Harper, one more time coming up behind all of you as you're burning the hearts and carving venom glands out of these things, is like, well, are you done now? It would be good to try to get some kind of, you know, ground covered today. Can we go? She's definitely kind of just
Yep.
getting snippy with you.
Do you have somewhere you have to be or something? Like, are you in a rush?
Well, I mean, we can take our time, I suppose, but I just, it sounded like you wanted to find this dragon as soon as possible and get it taken care of, or I'm not even sure. What are you doing with the dragon again?
Are we keeping you from something, Harper?
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm in a bad mood, and it's... Fine, you're right. I'll be waiting over here with the kid. And she goes back to the trail where the metal child has just been standing, arms kind of crossed in front of him, holding his own hands.
I think Harper will be a bad influence on the metal child.
Harper says, I heard that.
But yeah, I think I'm ready to go.
Yep, me too.
All right. Throughout the rest of the day, Zipple, you don't see anything else after you're running with the spiders. Bedding down for the night, I'm guessing it'll be the usual. Inside the dome, Cirthus unsleepingly having Casilda kind of range about. But over the course of this night, you've been all having some fairly good sleep, those of you who do sleep anyway, over the last few weeks. Tonight, it's a bit different out here in the swamp. Maybe it was the run-in with the spiders and not knowing whether they were sent by somebody or not. But your dreams are clouded with visions of, well, spiders. Chomps, especially yours. In fact, you have dreams of being stuck in webbing and getting one limb out only to have another limb suddenly caught in more webbing, and just hearing this low, kind of indulgent sounding laughing coming from somewhere behind you. Although whenever you try to turn, you can't see anything there. Yes. Let's see.
I definitely don't like the sound of that.
Zippel, your dreams are not quite like that, but still, You have some quick flashes of those same stone arches you've seen in a couple dreams now. Not for as long, but just some flashes. And a clouded sky with like this ugly yellow dust color, and a figure standing on what looks like the top of a tall building in a ragged cloak in the wind. It's unsettling. Margaret, in the little bit of, or Roland, sorry, in the little bit of meditation that you get as you're meditating, every once in a while it's disturbed by just these kind of flashing images of the same kind of thing. Once again, something you hadn't seen in a while, but you remember just that unsettling figure. And the same for you, Crom. Although in your dreams you feel a bit more protected, maybe, as you have this constant awareness of a figure also standing in the background, but this one supportive. In any case, waking up in the morning, a bit rumpled and unsettled, some of you, but for the most part, okay. And you definitely got your long rest, so everything recharges.
So how did everybody pass the night?
I imagine I have like bags under my eyes and not great.
That's good.
Dreaming about spiders. Goddamn spiders.
The Dreamseep has never been a pleasant place.
I've been sleeping pretty well lately. This is new.
I also had a strange dream of that island. I think that weirdo in the ghost is on a tower. I think he wants me to keep it in mind that he's there.
But no spiders? You didn't dream about spiders?
No, I did not have any dreams of spiders.
Oh, so many spiders.
Yay. All right. As you're having this discussion, from inside of Chomp's cloak, you all see suddenly this kind of flash of movement, and Quentin Tuatarantino suddenly leaps out and jumps, and you see him kind of suddenly swallowing something, and it looks like the legs of, it might have been a spider.
And this is who?
Yeah, I'm totally like unfazed by it. Like, I knew it was there the whole time. I imagine everybody else is like, whoa.
So there's
I'll pull out my mace. Don't worry, I get it.
So it's a lizard-looking creature that seems to be living inside the robes of Chomp.
His name is Quentin Tuatarantino. Because he's a Tuatara.
Where did you find this thing?
Oh, this little guy? Yeah, I picked him up from an exotic pets dealer a long time ago somewhere. I don't remember.
It's been a while.
I'm gonna try to lay some draconic on it and see if it
Okay.
responds.
What do you want to say to it?
Hello, small one.
Okay. It looks up at you as you speak, and it blinks one eye and then the other slowly.
Yes, he is communicating with me.
Yeah, we actually picked up a couple of tigers at the time too, but some of our friends, they went with some of our friends.
I feel like they were.
And yeah, they left shortly after they got those tigers. And
Crom has a bunny,
Mirage.
a bunny corn.
Killer bunny.
It's true, and as you say this, it suddenly kind of poofs into existence in your lap. It's this.
It teleports.
Yeah.
When have you all been feeding these things?
Quentin here just kind of, you know, as you see, he just eats bugs in the tent at night, and you know, he just eats whatever.
Wait,
My
I
buddy skipping shift at night. Well, he's sleep.
is the dome not sort of outside of the plane? It is impermeable?
Oh, we still get bugs.
Okay, I was concerned because you had mentioned the spiders and then there was one on you, and I did not know if you were it was only out of concern.
Oh yeah, where did that spider come from?
What spider?
The spider that Quentin just ate.
You're not sure. I mean, there's always, when you're in the wilderness like this, maybe a couple of bugs that get trapped inside the dome when you set it up. And you are aware that the dome does not extend below ground.
Wait, stop. Go sit down. Lay down.
So so anything that might be in a burrow or anything like that, can get in. If it can get underneath.
Roland, I have been doing some thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that you are very concerned about your family.
Yes.
It is my thought that we should find you a mate so you can breed.
I like that idea, except for maybe just we can continue the breeding and not worry about the mate part quite yet.
I mean, you can't breed with yourself. You will need to find a mate.
I've bred with myself, but I'd rather have a mate.
I also have, I was the last of my brood, so if you sire offspring, it will keep your family alive. That is all.
Very true. But the only eligible female I see right now is Harper, and I don't really think she's a candidate.
Harper
But
looks,
on the whole, I
Harper-
think your idea is a great idea.
Harper looks up with kind of a startled look on her face, just like, "Oi, don't be thinking
I
about
would-
that."
I would not suggest. That would be an unsound idea.
Yes,
But yes, it is my thought.
I think that is a great idea. And when we get back to civilization, I should jump on it.
Yes, we will find you a mate.
All right. Well, that was all interesting. She says, "Didn't know you had those on you, but good to know, I suppose. Let's get going." All right. Who would like to keep a lookout today?
I will.
Okay, go ahead and roll a general perception check. General perception.
$17.
Okay.
Oh, hold it. No, I'm sorry. I got the wrong thing there.
That's okay.
My bad. Oh, where's my dice? 4. 7. I'm really preoccupied with this idea of finding a mate.
7. In fact, yeah, throughout the day, it's just thinking about, like, well, I mean, maybe settling down wouldn't be the worst thing. Or maybe it would.
And then I slap myself.
And then,
yes.
yes, but that's very distracting. And so, yeah, you don't see a whole lot. About halfway through the day, Harper starts taking you off on his little side trail. Looks like a game trail almost that heads off of the main track here. And she explains, this is going to be going into some wilder territory now. It's going to be faster. And we are going into part of the swamp here that's not exactly the safest, so keep an eye out. And as she's leading you on, you see that the where along the main track, some of the brush and the larger trees along the sides had kind of been cleared out a bit. Here, it presses in, and you much more often have to kind of divert a little bit to go around large pools of water and to keep away from sucking mud and quicksand and things like that. You also start to hear just strange, different animal calls that in the northern part of the swamp you hadn't heard as much. Almost like birds, but maybe sometimes a bit deeper and longer. But from...
Is it any?
Was that?
I was just going to ask, is it anything I recognize being more or less from this area?
Yeah, make a nature check. See if you remember what this might be from.
19.
Okay. It's these specifically. You remember these large beasts in the southern part of the swamp, and partially you had remembered this when back in Braunbog talking about going here. That specifically this type is quite large. They eat leaves. At least you think this is the sound you're hearing. They have long neck that kind of reaches out to allow them to grab higher in trees and things like that. They are kind of lizard-ish, but they're not especially intelligent.
Do you all remember the beautiful shape that Chomp assumed
Yes.
a while back? It is like that, but not as beautiful.
What?
Thanks. I do make a good dinosaur.
It is a shame you have to turn back into this rather smooth thing.
Well, isn't that
Well,
nice?
you know. Yeah. Why'd you have to go and make it weird?
It always is. It's okay. So, other than hearing those noises come through and seeing like the brush come around closer around you, kind of as the day goes on, and of course things get a little bit more miserable. There's more. It seems like the mosquitoes are multiplying here as you go south. It almost seems a little warmer, and in a couple times you actually pass these pools that seem to be slightly steaming. But you don't see anything of note, really, other than those basic things during the day, Roland. As the day ends... Yes, as the day ends, you all kind of hunker down once again. Some of you have slightly disturbing dreams, not as bad nearly as the night before. Yeah. Throughout the night, you continue to hear those kind of odd calls out in the distance, now joined by some other slightly different sounding calls. At one point, what sounds like a large roar, which sounds vaguely familiar, like it might be from, what Chomp occasionally turns into. But you all wake up okay, and in the morning, as the dome recedes and kind of melts away, the smell of the warm swamp air, now with a little bit of, it almost smells like sulfur in the air, as you've been it's passing more of these kind of hot springs. You are informed by Harper that she expects to be getting to the area around where that trader had seen these things, or had experienced what might have been this dragon attack. Although as she's been heading you further south and further, just in some of her talking, she's gotten a little bit unsure about whether that's actually what it was, because what he described was, it did sound in many ways like it could have been a black dragon, but it was something, it was something very fast and dark and flying, and people were melting away and things like this, but she's unsure. She's not very helpful in some ways. Who would like to keep an eye out for this third day of travel into the southern reaches of the Dream Seep?
You want to use
Now,
Crown?
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception check.
$14.
14. Okay. So, like I said, the slower going that you're experiencing here, and the new smells you're kind of smelling here, and the just more oppressive kind of climate. This is very different from where you grew up. It seemed almost claustrophobic compared to the mountains. You continue to hear those kind of far-off calls, some of them now getting closer. At one point during the day, you hear some like thudding steps, not too far away, maybe a couple 100 feet off, but it fairly quickly recedes into the distance. As at the same time, Harper seems to also hear it and kind of holds everybody up until it kind of fades away, and then continues on. Around mid-afternoon, y'all come up to the side of what looks like is a huge clearing. Some fallen trees in the middle, these kind of waving in the slight breeze swamp grasses out in there as well. You can see that a lot of it seems to be under a few inches of water. At least the parts nearby that you can see as you come up to the tree line. And Harper kind of puts up a fist, in the kind of stop signal, turns to you and puts one finger up to her lips, kind of shushing you, and kind of gets down and two fingers up to the eyes and then points out kind of to the hole in a sweeping gesture to the whole clearing, and seems to be kind of just willing to wait for a few minutes here. As you watch, you start to hear some more of those thudding steps, and then you realize it's several sets of them. And before long, out from kind of the left far side of this huge clearing, you see these large creatures, maybe the size of an elephant, with these frills of bone that go back over their shoulders, 3 horns, 1 out of their nose, 1 and then 2 above their eyes, kind of sticking out. It looks like there's 5 or 6 of them. Some huge in that elephant size, a couple of them just a little bit smaller, maybe more like cow-sized. And as they make their way out, kind of thudding and a little bit of splashing out into this low, marshy grassland in front of you, they start eating. And as they do, Harper kind of seems to relax and sigh a little bit and says, "Okay, it's not what I thought it might be. We can continue on through here. I think we're getting close to where we want to be."
So have we seen anything like this before? Is this
He has a cape.
are we just shocked by these creatures? Because they seem very large
I've
and
never seen it.
I mean, most of you have probably never seen it. Yeah, anybody who would like to either roll a history check or I suppose, Zippel, you could roll a nature check if you wanted to see if you remember ever seeing anything like this.
I'll roll a history.
16.
16, okay.
I got a 24 history check.
Darn.
All right.
I've read books.
All the books.
Zippo, you vaguely remember hearing about things like this, just in general. These large, kind of saurian creatures who live in this part of the swamp. You didn't ever spend a lot of time down here in your time in Dreamseep, so you haven't ever seen this specifically. Chomp, you have seen drawings of something like this, or at least in concept, based on ancient preserved bones and fossils and things like that have been found in often the colder reaches of the world. You've never, from the things you've heard, this wasn't even supposed to be something that exists anymore. Much like the T-Rex you turn into, you'd never actually seen one before, but you've seen reconstructions of their skeletons, you've seen reconstructions, theoretically, of their musculature and things like that, which is the reason you were able to turn into one. This, though, it's a living fossil, basically, you're seeing.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't think. I thought the stories of these were just bad descriptions of elephants and stuff. I didn't think these things were still around.
All right. Moving out across this large, splashy clearing, it is a little bit harder going. And as you kind of cross the tree line, this kind of small herd of these things, of these dinosaurs, kind of, one of them kind of hoots a little bit, like, and they all kind of turn towards you, just kind of unsure of what you might be. But you're not heading directly towards them. And as you're crossing, it's maybe a quarter mile wide, this large clear space. A little more than halfway across, you start hearing a different sound. This kind of snuffling, and you hear a couple large footfalls and a couple quieter ones and a little bit of splashing from over to your right a ways, a good long ways. And upon hearing this, you all kind of looking over, Harper and Crom kind of directing your attention to where they're hearing the noise suddenly. You see a large snout, maybe 20, 25 feet off the ground, kind of start to protrude from the trees down that end of this clearing. It is recognizable as the same kind of thing that Chomp turns into, that Tyrannosaurus looking kind of thing. This one is a bit bigger than Chomp usually turns into. And as it starts to come out from under the shade of the trees into the light, you see another snout come out next to it, almost the same height. And then as that one starts to come out more into the light, you see a third, a little bit smaller than the other two. It looks like this is a family of Tyrannosaurs. They don't seem to see you, but their attention, as they seem to be hunting, is just dead focused on the other dinosaurs that seem to be grazing out there. What would you like to do? You are at the moment kind of a little bit between, like, these two groups of dinosaurs. They're each several hundred feet away from you at the moment, but you're kind of almost dead center.
Oh, well, guys, I don't think we should move, at least not very quickly.
Do you think it would help us at all to back away slowly?
I feel like maybe, or I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't move at all. Maybe their hunting vision is based on movement. I don't know. Or who's to say these things are supposed to be dead?
Well, I mean, you turn into one. Is your vision based on movement when you do?
I don't know. It's all instinct and I'm just kind of going with it. I don't know. Either way, I think we're about to see some shit.
John? All right. As you all are kind of frozen in indecision here in the middle of this large field, you see the lead Tyrannosaur kind of put its nose up and start to sniff, and it starts to kind of leading the other two kind of circle a bit to its left, kind of towards the area where you came out of. Its attention still on the Triceratops over there, the herd. At this point, the Triceratops have seen them come out of the trees and have started to kind of form the larger ones kind of in a protective kind of fence around the two smaller ones. And they're starting to obviously kind of hoot more and make these kind of grunting noises as things seem to be escalating. The Tyrannosaurs start moving a little bit kind of behind where you had been, behind you where you've been coming from. They're not going to directly intersect with you, but they are getting nearer.
I think we should calmly and slowly move in whatever direction
Serpentine. They're not sniper T-Rexes. They're
like to get out of the line between them.
okay.
Perpendicular to the line between the T-Rex and the Triceratops.
Okay.
I mean, we could. I know it's use of a spell, but we could use Lehman's tiny hut to kind of hide and protect us. And because there's probably gonna be a fight, and there's probably gonna be a chase, and when that happens, then we move.
Yeah, we could sort of bunker down and wait it out, either in Lehman's or Rope Trick. Yeah, we can look out of the hole.
Are there trees nearby? Like big sturdy trees?
I mean, you're more than halfway across this large clearing. The nearest trees are a couple 100 feet off still in front of you. Most of the trees around here are good size. Like these with twisting roots that go up. They probably go up on average of 80, 90 feet in the air. Yeah.
Too far to climb to get to.
All right. Well, as you are all kind of discussing this back and forth, the T-Rexes have started to make a little bit more noise and are starting to kind of growl themselves, and the three of them are kind of starting to spread out. One up, going further up that side where you had come from. The other kind of heading more directly into where the Triceratops are. Because they had moved around a little bit, you're no longer right in between them. But the third one kind of fans out to the right and does seem to be moving very close to where you all are, or is going to be if they continue on.
Yep, I'm gonna use Lehman's.
Now, is that gonna take like 11 minutes or?
No, I have it stored in my staff for such occasions.
Ah, perfect.
Ah. Okay. All right. So as you all kind of gather around and Sir this kind of just jams the staff down, the hut appears around you. What do you want it to look like? Because you can kind of choose the opaqueness kind of color of it.
Yeah, as camouflage as I could, kind of
Okay.
make it.
As it kind of pops into existence, it does disturb some of the water that's around because there is several inches of water in amongst the grass here, and there's a kind of splash sound. And at that sound, all 3 T-Rex heads kind of track to the hut. They don't see you, of course, and you are camouflaged, but they look kind of back and forth between each other. And the one that was heading that way continues on, now kind of scanning around the ground, looking. And as you watch, let me see something. Sir, could you roll just to see how well you camouflage this thing, roll a stealth check for the dome.
Stealth check for the dome.
Yeah, so it'll just be a straight up d20 roll. Just to see how well
It's a 9.
9? Okay. I mean, you're pretty sure you got it pretty good. It's hard to know. You're on the inside. And you can still see out, as there's just this kind of... It almost looks like a shimmering mesh in between you and the outside world. As the T-Rex gets closer, you can see it sniffing, and it definitely sees something is wrong. The other two are continuing to hunt the group of Triceratops, but this one is becoming more and more aware that there's something wrong here. And as it gets closer, its foot ends up brushing the edge of the dome, and it kind of steps back for a second, and then kind of noses the top of the dome, and then kind of opens its mouth and tries to bite the top of the dome. And you all see as its huge mouth opens and these teeth kind of scrape across the magic. A little bit of drool kind of comes out and starts just oozing down the side.
Please make it go away.
I'm not just gonna stay in my.
And as you can
This
see,
is cool.
you can see that it's just mostly curious right now, not sure what's going on. It rears back up and then takes a foot and kind of steps on the dome. And you all, you all see just the bottom side of its foot, like a cat on glass almost, kind of wrap on the dome and press. But it doesn't move. At this point, yeah, not sure what to make of it. It kind of continues on, stalking off to the right of the group. As you watch, once they're set up in kind of this pincer movement, almost in unison, the T-Rexes charge from 3 different sides at once, and you see this kind of battle commence. One T-Rex kind of snapping in the larger Triceratops, kind of charging out and trying to gore the undersides of the T-Rex. And as they try to defend against one T-Rex, another will snap in and try to get one of the smaller ones, and it goes back and forth for several minutes before one of the Triceratops manages to catch the medium-sized T-Rex kind of alongside its ribs, and it opens a gash, and blood starts kind of gushing out. That one kind of limps off, and the other two kind of also retreat with it. and both groups start to retreat into the trees, and you are all left in your hut in the middle of this now kind of torn up, wet marshland kind of meadow. Harper just kind of lets out a sigh and says, "Well, I'm glad you had that in there. That was what I was afraid of. If I hadn't been clear, they're pretty large and dangerous, as I'm sure you all know." She kind of looks over at you, John.
Yeah, it's kind of different being on this end.
They're scary. They're bigger than you are when you're in that form. In any case,
I'm a gnome.
I mean, I suppose. Me too. That's how we roll, right? Okay.
Yeah.
She seems just kind of still shaken, like she's her as she's picking up her stuff again to maybe get going. You can see she's doing to kind of cover up a tremor in her hand, like she's just kind of a lot of adrenaline going. What? Yeah. Do you all want to continue on? It's only, like I said, about a mid-afternoon at this point, so the dinosaurs haven't kind of retreated. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I guess if the coast is clear, we can make our way on.
Cool.
Ask if Chomp would be willing to create another hut so that I could kind of recharge mine.
Oh yeah, you want to catch a spell in your staff?
But I figure I can't be utilizing it right now.
Yeah, but for later, like the only reason we were able to make the hut. Yeah, if we are in or I don't know, you want to wait until we take a rest, or wait until we're safely.
I mean,
somewhere?
it takes. I don't know. It just takes you like 11 minutes to make it, and then it take me another 11 minutes to reload it. So, and then that gives them time to we can maybe see whether they've hung out on the maybe tree edge, forest edge, and see if they're just waiting for us.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good?
Yeah, I guess once let's do it once. Let's get over to the cover of the forest. Aren't we heading towards some trees?
I mean, yeah, you were headed over towards the far side of this to another line of trees. So
After that last scare with the T-Rexes and being out in the open, you just want a little more security before we take a break to do that.
okay.
But yeah,
All right. So are you gonna just cast it as a ritual?
yeah, I'll cast it as a ritual at his staff or into his staff or however the staff works.
I mean, that's basically how it works.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
What I was trying to say is you just create another one so that I could get rid of the one we're in so that I could recast it into the staff, because I don't know if I could. I don't know. It's up to you whether I can cast a new one into it while I'm using it.
Well, I mean, once you release the spell from the staff, it's no longer in the staff. The staff just stores them.
Okay. And I just made it more complicated than it needed to be, and I'll just recast it into the staff.
But
Okay.
well, give me a second here. Yeah, because it's not concentration. Yeah, because the tiny hut's not concentration, right?
No.
Yeah, so you should be fine. Yeah, you could totally cast one into the staff while you're in here. Okay. Cool. So you do that because this thing could be up for 8 hours, and then are y'all gonna? You said you were gonna move out back over to the trees across the way.
Yeah, just keep heading in the same direction.
Okay. So heading, getting the spell into the staff, heading back out across into the trees, the dome dissolving behind you as Cirthus leaves it. You make your way across to the trees without any incident. The Tyrannosaurus had gone kind of the opposite way. They had gone the way you had come from, kind of. So you don't think you're going to have to deal with them on the path you're on, it seems. And at the moment, you don't hear anything large moving. And you do have a few hours left before sundown still. So is there anything else you wanted to do before you keep moving on, or? Because it sounds like there was a possibility of something, but I wasn't sure what. Because if not, we can keep on.
Yeah, I guess just, I don't have anything.
Okay. So going on for another hour or so, the sun starting to dip near the horizon, the air not necessarily getting any colder here in the swamp, but it's almost time to bed down for the night when Harper suddenly has you all stop and points. And just through some large trees here, you can see a kind of a better path running through this part of the swamp. Slightly raised up. It looks like somebody has mounded it. So it's, like an old kind of highway, so it doesn't always flood all the time. It's not the nicest one, but it's large enough to maybe run a small cart down. And you see, as you kind of get an idea for what she's actually pointing to, several of those small carts in pieces, strewn about in just kind of a haphazard fashion. Doesn't look like it's necessarily fresh, although from this distance it's hard to tell. And as she finally knows that you seem to have gotten what's going on, she raises her finger up and points up into the trees, and you can see that there are 3 living trees that have kind of half fallen into each other and kind of grown into each other. They almost make kind of a teepee about 40 feet up.
Let me stop you right there. When you say living trees,
Yes.
do you mean like trees that are alive, or do you mean like tree ants?
I mean, like trees that are alive. They're not dead.
Okay.
Like they
Cool.
haven't fallen over and died, but they did fall over partially at some point while alive and start growing into each other.
I just thought it was worth clarification.
No, that's fair. Trance exist. And she kind of whispers to all of you, I think we found the spot.
What spot are you talking about?
The one the trader was talking about, where the attack happened. He mentioned 3 trees.
Oh, yeah. This doesn't look like a dragon.
Well, this doesn't, but she kind of gestures around to the torn apart carts and things. This looks like it might have been a dragon.
No, Harper, those were carts.
She picks up a small stone off the ground and just throws it at you.
But what do we make of this topiary?
I'm not sure. It was a landmark he mentioned.
Can you send the bird out?
Yeah, I can look around. I can't. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
Just before we go in to investigate, maybe to make sure there's nothing like on the other side of that rock or something, you know.
I guess I can look as far as I can.
Yeah. Okay. So setting out Casilda, make a perception check real quick with Casilda stats.
That'd be a 23.
Okay. Wow. As Casilda, as you suddenly are seeing once again through her eyes, and she is kind of drifting slowly over, kind of circling the area, you see that it is indeed several carts that have been just torn apart. In fact, with her keen owl eyes, you're able to see, even in the low light of the understory of the forest here, body parts. Like, there's an arm over here, there's most of a person over here without a head, there's one or two, it looks like, bodies of those large, kind of long-legged oxen-like beasts that seems to pull carts here in the swamp. Also torn apart, you know, large chunks missing out of them, things like that. And yeah, with that roll, near the far range of her circle, near where those three large trees seem to be fallen and growing into each other, it looks like there's a sinkhole between them. Like amongst the roots, it just goes down into blackness.
I will relay that to everybody.
Okay. What do y'all think? There is a torn apart caravan, and then past that, a sinkhole large sinkhole going down into who knows what.
I do not like this.
Hearing this from you, Harper says, "Well then, it sounds like you found your dragon."
Well, it's a hole, Harper. Okay, calm down.
Well, in my experience, dragons like to live in holes.
Like the last hole, right? Where you took us and there was no dragon?
There had been a dragon there in the past, though. You have to admit, it wasn't there then, but
This is a theoretical dragon, Harper. Please calm down.
you know what? I don't like your tone.
You don't need to like it.
Oh,
We paid a lot of money not to find holes.
Well, should we go down the hole then?
Are you crazy? There's probably a dragon down there.
She just gets up and like walks several feet away, just behind a tree, and just hands on hips, just.
I mean, this is dragons live in holes, right? I mean, this. I mean,
this is probably the hole we seek.
as long as it's not just a troll hole.
One of the worst types of holes.
Because the troll hole, you have to pay the toll to get into the hole.
I mean, that's probably why the last one attacked you. Yeah. All right. What do y'all want to do?
So what about like a, I don't know what spell, locate creature or detect creature or find dragon type of a spell to see if there is one nearby?
Yeah, I tried that. I used that before, didn't I? To try to find, like,
You did use it before, yes.
locate animals and plants, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one that has 1,000-foot radius. Isn't yours like bigger or something?
Yeah, it's a specific kind of beast or plant.
Okay.
Closest within that, in the area of that kind, within 5 miles.
So it allows you to find the closest one in the area?
Yeah, within 5 miles.
Okay. Do you want to? Are you going to use that for dragon?
Yeah, it's royal, it's whatever, ritual, so it'll take a minute.
Okay. Sitting down, starting your ritual. Your awareness slowly spreads out into the surrounding area and then kind of coalesces almost into like a 3D map in your head, kind of like a wireframe. And you're aware of a quite large draconic presence not too far off from you, underground. Definitely like somewhere in the direction of that hole, past the hole.
Okay, I will relay that to everybody, except for to Harper.
Okay, so yeah, Geronimo, I guess, right?
I don't think that's a good idea. I think we need to think about this.
I don't. I can't think of any other, like, in the end, what else are we going to do besides go down the hole and find the dragon?
We could look for the second entrance just to have it be awares, and maybe it's a better way in. I mean, it might be worth it to search it at least.
Oh, yeah. Like an underwater entrance or something.
And if we do believe this is the dragon, I should maybe look for a few more of those plants.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there may or may not be another entrance, but it's worth
It
that.
may be harder to find because the first time we knew it was sort of like the opening we found was like a cave into a mountain, so we just had to sort of walk around the mountain. But this seems like it's just a sinkhole in a relatively flat kind of area. Like I don't know how to search which direction to go. I don't know. Do we have
That is a good point.
spell?
What's off in the distance? Is there like any specific land feature? Do we hear water?
I mean, you're in the midst of some pretty thick jungle here, basically. Very swampy jungle. So there's not a lot other than immediately what you see within the next few hundred feet, at best. It is a little bit more cleared out here around this small track that goes through. As far as hearing, make a perception check.
Also, last time I gave somebody the pendant to try to find the hidden passage.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know if I got it back or not, but we have that as well.
It has a range of 30 feet, 50 feet.
Something. What was that perception check?
Not worth mentioning.
Okay. I mean, there's always the sound of some kind of flowing water somewhere here in the Dreamscape. It's a very wet place, either splashing or actively running streams or, bubbling from hot springs, things like that.
Oh, is this sinkhole like filled with water, or
I mean,
is it?
As far as Surface could see, it went down into just darkness without.
I'm gonna throw a rock in
Yeah.
it and see if I can hear anything.
Okay, it is a ways. It is a ways off.
Do that.
It is a ways off.
Did you just do it? Oh yeah, it's far away.
Oh,
It's like a few hundred. Sorry.
If I'm not close to it, then I won't do it. But if I was standing next to it, I would have done it by now. Definitely.
Definite Pippin move. Yes. You do still have your pendant. By the way. Okay. Yeah, because it is. You're probably 150 feet or so off from the sinkhole. Kind of, you're all hunkered down in some bushes as the day is kind of, it's not evening yet, but the sun's getting ready to go down.
How about we start by exploring the carnage? I don't think we'd be so lucky to find a scale there, but at least, we might be able to find something that would help us at least, identify for 100% that this was a dragon or something of use.
I'd like to do an
Yeah.
investigation check.
Yeah, we should look at him.
Okay. Roland, you're going to do an investigation check of the carnage?
Yeah, there might be gold or something lying around. Copper.
It definitely could be. Go for it.
13.
13. Kind of poking around a little bit. I mean, there's not a whole lot there. You find a couple busted crates that seem to have had mushrooms in them. There are still some mushrooms kind of scattered about. This kind of...
Crumb, you want to eat one with me?
No, those are worth a lot of money. Hold on to them.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Crumb.
Like truffles?
Well, who does anybody want to try to identify the mushrooms?
I will.
Go ahead and roll a nature check.
19.
19. These are queen's cap mushrooms. They are the mushrooms that are used for making superior healing potions.
The crazy woman with the herbalist shop would pay us a lot of money for these, so...
I will shove as many as I can into the sack of holding.
I mean, as far as viable mushrooms that aren't like smashed, you find. Let me see. Yeah, you find 14 whole mushrooms, and they're like good-sized toadstool kind of mushrooms, like the size of a fist. So 14 of them.
Okay, they're in the sack of holding.
All right. Other things you find, several, dismembered bodies. You're not quite sure how many, just because they've been so very dismembered.
Can I do a medicine check on them to see what their wounds look like?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's 12.
Okay. Some of them are pretty obviously large bite wounds. Yeah, there's also some that... Some of the wounds just have an odd look to them. Like, they might have been burn wounds, they might have been something else, you're not sure. All right. And yeah, other than the mushrooms, some bodies, splintered wood, things like that, they're strangely, for a group of traders, you don't find any money here.
Do they have any weapons?
Also, no.
That is very suspicious.
It seems like anything of any value that was metal has been taken.
I think, y'all, with no money here, that maybe we have found the dragon and he took it for his hoard.
Yeah, it fits.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just not sure how we should tackle this right yet.
Yes. I'd like to kind of just like pile up the corpse parts and sprinkle some marigold seeds over them and like say some kind of prayer, I guess.
Okay.
So I do that.
It's done. Okay. Zipple kind of piling the bodies and saying his prayer, not lighting them on fire, I'm guessing this time?
No.
Okay. That's probably for the best. For right now, anyway. At this point, as you've all investigated and been kind of looking over things, trying to figure out what's going on here, the sun is almost down. Not that you can see the horizon right now, but just less and less light is coming through down from the canopy of the trees. What do y'all want to do?
Do we know anything about Black Dragon's activity, like being diurnal or nocturnal, or like do they usually attack at night?
Well, you do know, because you all have studied this a few times before, and you've gotten some pretty good rolls. So you know some basics about black dragons. They generally like to be solitary. They are fairly territorial. They like water. They, breathe acid. They can, in a different way of breathing, can breathe water. So they are amphibious. Let's see.
It is called the Night Terror, so maybe it must be out at night.
This one specifically is called the Midnight Terror, and from the stories that you've picked up about it, it does seem to mostly, not always, but mostly attack at night. Mostly, yes. Mostly. But yeah, I mean, this kind of place, just the murky swampland, sinkhole, kind of disguised amongst undergrowth and trees and things. This seems like the kind of place they would stay. It just seems that the traders had decided they were going to make whether the traders had decided they were going to make their new trail here and it had just been a bad place, or whether the dragon had recently moved in here and the traders hadn't yet known. It seems to have gone badly in any case. What do y'all think? I mean, it is coming on night. Exactly.
Yes. I mean, maybe if we found alternate entrance, that would be something worth checking out. But other than that, we just gotta jump down the hole.
It is nearly dark, yes. I propose we set up in the hut for the night. We think on it. We may observe him at some point. If he is nocturnal, the dragon, that would maybe, if we see him come out, then yes, we know he lives there. If not, we have all tomorrow and all of its beautiful light to explore down.
All right.
If we see him come out tonight, that would be the perfect time for us to go down the hole and put ourselves strategically around his lair.
That is also an idea. We would have the lair to ourselves to look for shed scales Also, it's an idea.
This is true. Well, what do you want to do right now? We're going to set up the dome. You're going to look around for the second entrance.
I say we set up a dome.
All right.
I agree.
So, setting up the dome for the night. Cirthus, could you just roll your regular perception check for Casilda? Just keep an eye out.
$17.
17. Okay. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a tense night. You can feel the kind of anxiety in the tent, or not the tent, the dome, as you all are, kind of wondering what to do. You discuss it a little bit, of course, and if you want to do, we can get to that in a minute. Harper is, of course, still kind of angry with Zippo, and is not talking to you. But is trying to teach the middle child how to play some type of card game.
Metal child, come over here. You need to work on your draconic.
Later on in the night, though, that's right, he does. Later on in the night, Cirthus, you do catch just a little bit of movement through Casilda, just like this shadow kind of very quickly kind of flying through the trees. You don't really get a good look, but just something very dark in shadow, just like this, just kind of a whooshing sound almost, and just a little bit of movement, but that's it.
Okay. Yes.
Let me see.
That thumb.
Please, no. No, it's in my head. In any case, if y'all want to discuss right now, like early on in the night, we could say, in the dome, what you want to do the next day. Let's do that right now. What is the plan of attack for the next day?
I mean, so we didn't find any other entrances, right?
We have not looked yet.
Oh,
We were going to wait till daylight, I believe.
oh yeah, it was night. I mean, I feel like sending something like Casilda around is really the only way to go, since we don't even really know of a direction to head or what we're looking for. If we tried to do it on foot, we would just be, I don't know, make a grid and systematically start searching, but that would take forever.
All right.
And then, but ultimately, we're going to go in the hole or the other entrance and just
Die.
I'm in.
Just. Well, I mean, I guess you'll see when you get to that point.
I know Crom is done waffling. She says, no more, let's jump in the hole.
It's a very Crom thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cirthus? What do you think?
I mean, I have nothing to go on, so other than trying to find another entrance. We don't have explosives or anything, do we?
I think a few of you have some packets of, like small packets of gunpowder still. I'm not sure how much you have.
Yeah, and I can make corpses explode.
And I have Paelor.
Well, actually, as it's interesting, as you say that, Chomp, and look into your spell book? That spell is gone.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, it seems that getting the Mark of Loth removed also removed your ability to cast that spell. Like it actually physically disappeared from your written spell book. That sneaky Spider Queen. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about explosives.
Roland, what's your opinion on this?
I think if we think that he's out flying around right now, that we should go down the hole.
Since I don't really know if that's the case. He could have been returning. I have no idea.
Well, if he'd been returning, wouldn't we have seen him go into the... Unless he went into the other hole. Yeah.
It's true.
I mean,
I have locate creature, which is persistent, and it lasts up to an hour, in which I would know about the direction to a creature's location within 1,000 feet, and if it's moving, what direction it's moving and stuff, and that would stay on for an hour.
Okay.
If that would be helpful to know.
So
And
it
and we can set an alarm at the entrance, or I don't know.
So it locate creature. It does have to be a creature that is familiar to you. You've heard some vague descriptions of the Midnight Terror. However, one of the defining characteristics of it is that nobody seems to be able to give a consistent description of it. Some have said it's huge, others have said it's not, some have said it's fast, some have said it's not. I mean, it's all over the place. The one thing that people seem to be consistent about is that it is very dark, it is very dragon.
Yeah. It also, the spell is blocked by running water.
Oh yeah,
10 feet wide.
there's a lot of that here.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it's stagnant water. Not all of it's running, but there is quite a bit of running water. as
Maybe
well.
this spell is not as reliable as I thought in this situation.
Running water 10 feet wide. What are you, like a hellhound or like a vampire or something?
Yeah. It's a vampire and ghost rules or something.
Okay.
I guess I could do my ritual again and at least know whether I detected that thing in the same area as the night before. Should have done that last night.
I mean, casting it now as a ritual, taking those couple minutes, the same awareness comes to you, and the draconic presence that you had felt the day before seems to be pretty much in the same place. Maybe slightly different, but it's still
Yeah.
underground.
Yeah, I'll let everybody. I think that the dragon is in its lair.
Harper says, "You think the dragon's in its lair? Does that mean it might be out here?"
A dragon is in the lair, or dragon-like creature.
Oh, well. Yay? You found it then?
Maybe. I guess you're free to leave and get ate by T-Rexes, but
Well, yes, I was just thinking about that, and now that you mention it, I'm gonna have to stick along with you. For whatever you do, just so I don't get eaten.
well, you're gonna have to pay us for that.
I'm gonna have to pay you?
What was that?
I'm gonna have to pay you?
Yeah, we paid you to find the dragon. Now
Okay.
you gotta pay us to keep you alive.
That's an interesting deal.
I mean, I'm okay at staying alive
I mean, you don't
myself.
have to. You don't have to.
I mean, how much are you looking to pay? Or how much are you looking to be paid?
How much is your life worth?
I'm not sure. I don't have a whole lot of money.
Did you spend the money we gave you?
You haven't given me the money you gave me yet. You haven't.
Wait, I thought we gave him.
You
We
gave.
gave
her
you
money.
half up front.
You
but
gave
then
half up
most
front.
of it went to Grandpapa.
I've already. I mean, in that way, I've already spent half of it. It's my gran has it, and he's probably spent it. But like I said, you hadn't given me all the money yet. I have some money on me. Just a second. She kind of pats down her pockets, comes up with like 3 gold and a couple silver.
Well, I'll tell you what. Seeing as we still gotta do this task, if we live, maybe we can work something out to get back. But if we don't live, then you're on your own. So if you have any ideas with your experiences on dragons or whatever, you can help out.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot of experience. I mean, I've tracked small dragons before. Nothing like this though. I mean, they're right. Finding that second entrance would be useful if just to have another way to retreat.
Yeah?
Are you volunteering, Harper?
Any
I-
kind of suggestions?
I mean, we could look around. Find. I mean, it's. You said that they usually build it in water, so we could try to find some large bits of water.
Yeah. What's the issue? I might have missed it because I was taking care of the dog.
Sorry.
What's the issue?
Oh, Harper would not like to be left alone above ground because she thinks she might be eaten by a T-Rex.
Okay. So we decided to go down the hole?
No.
Oh, well. I feel like as long as she will help us fight if something happens, like if she won't just like go hide in the corner, like everything should be cool. That's what I say to her anyway.
Alright. Alright. It being morning as you all are discussing this, I guess. The 8 hours wears off and the dome in the morning light starts to fade away. And you are now sitting unprotected in the midst of the jungle here, in this swamp. Yeah. What are y'all like? We got to figure out. Are we gonna look around for the second entrance, or are we just gonna go down the hole?
I am asking Chomp if he could, like, polymorph into something and, like, crawl down the side or fly down and just check it out. Or something. Or make a big old, I don't know, rope or something. But yeah, Kroms can jump if something doesn't happen. So.
Yeah, you want me to do some
Polymorph would
little
work, right?
polymorph?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I can turn something
Like a mole, and you could just, like, burrow down there.
something tiny like a spider or like a
Spider.
little bug that would just be totally indistinguishable to the dragon. Wouldn't
Yeah.
even
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, as long as you don't get eaten by your own lizard thing.
He's not a lizard. It's a tuatara.
Tuatara.
That's fair.
What about? Yeah, like a bat
Can they fly down like that?
or a series of bats.
You could definitely change into a bat.
How about? Okay, I want to be able to go fast. So should I be fast or small? 'Cause
Both.
A giant
Both.
is way faster.
No, just be.
I mean, a bat has a 30-foot flying speed.
Gosh, that's 60.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be a regular bat. I'm gonna say bat and then transform into a bat.
All right. So you are now a bat. You have 1 hit point.
Oh.
But you have 60 feet of blind sight. And you have advantage on perception checks that rely on hearing.
Which does that mean also perception checks on seeing since I use echolocation?
It's true, because that's the other thing you have is echolocation.
Cool.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna just take off and fly down the hole.
Okay. Make a perception check. At advantage.
That was my. Let's see. Perception is.
So you have... Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yes. Yes, it's going to be +1.
So that is a 15.
A 15. Okay. So as you fly down, at first, like, it's a little bit disorienting, suddenly being in bat form, and, you know, you're supposed to be out at night, and so even though it's dim here, it's still a little bit brighter than you might like. But flying off and between these 3 huge trees and then down into the sinkhole, it goes down, and it's a good 50 feet across. But as you start to fly down into it, you see vines that are growing down the sides of this thing, and it very quickly goes to limestone on the sides, and you realize that it's not just a sinkhole, but the entrance to like a cavern system. Getting to the bottom is a good 100 feet down. It looks like there's different ledges and things that one might be able to scramble to and climb to as you go down. But down into the bottom, there's a large passage, a couple smaller passages that kind of lead off. Looks like it's kind of honeycombed limestone down here, but one large passage that kind of leads at an angle downward. You want to continue in?
Yeah. So it kind of is there just it doesn't split. There's just kind of one main.
Well, there's one main one, and there's definitely like the bottom of it is as you're flying through here is smoothed over, like it's you know had something dragged over it time after time or been walked on time after time. There are some smaller passages that go off, or kind of nooks and holes, but none of them seem to go very far. Yeah.
I just keep going down the main way.
Okay. You go down for a good 10 minutes of flying. And it's a very slight incline, but by the time you get to what looks like a broadening of the passage, you're down several hundred feet underground. It's damp and dank down here. Every once in a while, like a little rivulet of water comes from the cavern wall of the limestone or from above sometimes. And it's, by this point, is a free-flowing stream in the midst of this large passageway. But as it broadens out, you come out into what is a huge cavern with, like, you had seen a little bit of honeycombing above, but in here it's like holes everywhere in the roof, in the walls, some small, some large, stalagmites and stalactites coming from the ceiling and ground, none quite meeting, but you know there's several you have to dodge around as you're kind of flitting through here. On one side, you hear loud rushing water, and you, flying over there, find a good-sized waterfall spilling out of one of the holes in the honeycombing down onto the ground into a pool, a large pool, maybe 70 feet by 50 feet of pool, with looks like fallen stone parts of the wall that seem to kind of bridge over part of it at the end, and a stream that kind of winds its way out of the across the floor of this cavern. You also, around this pool, as your echolocation kind of picks up more, what you first think is a large piece of boulder or something that has fallen from the roof. You kind of stop for a second and realize that it's what looks like a 20-foot tall humanoid skull. With moss and like things growing all over it. Look like it's been there for a long, long time.
Wow.
This is about halfway through the room.
Yeah, I'm just kind of making a circumference, just flying like a big arc around.
Yeah. Okay. Heading back further into the room, past this, after being surprised, you come across what looks like a huge pile of coins, weapons, pieces of shiny rock, any number of things. Not nearly as big as the hoard that you had found with the red dragon, but still a good size. A lot of treasure just kind of in this little alcove, well, actually pretty good sized alcove near the far side of this cavern. And then, as you're kind of flying past it, make a dexterity saving throw real quick.
Well, he's got no proficiencies.
No, but he's got +2 to dex.
So 8.
8. Okay. Well, it's actually really a contested kind of dex thing, but he rolled a 6. So, as you just catch out of the corner of your eye this movement of shadow, these jaws just kind of snap right next to you. You were very lucky that it was contested. And you hear this voice, this deep, kind of growling voice, say something in what you recognize as Draconic, but I don't think you speak Draconic.
I think no. No.
Yeah, and as it settles back, you realize that there is a massive black dragon sitting on what looks like some large logs that are somehow down here, with moss and things growing off and lichen, and it's just kind of reclined as if it was a giant couch. Yes, but it had taken a snap at you, I guess, as a snack, but it's being lazy, so.
Cool. So that waterfall that I saw coming down.
The what? Sorry?
The waterfall or the water that was coming through the ceiling?
Yeah, there's a couple different places where it does, and then there's the large waterfall and the large pool that you had passed.
So, I guess like the largest one, is it an open hole with, like, is there enough room for me to fly up through it, or is it more like a solid stream of water?
It's flying up to it, getting away from the dragon. It's a solid stream of water coming out, like, at a fairly good clip.
All right, I flap towards the way that I came in.
Okay.
I'm out of here.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So flapping your way back out, it's easy enough to find your way back out. Yes, you end up back with your peoples in the bright light above. You all waiting for a while, like a good 45 minutes. You start to almost worry because you know you're aware it only lasts an hour. But suddenly there's a little bat flitting over the jungle landscape and comes up to you.
All right.
Ungag yourself.
Well, first I start squeaking at them, and then I remember that they can't understand bat. So I transform into my gnomish form
All right.
and describe to them that I almost got eaten, and that was scary. But that the dragon's down there, you guys, and there's just it's a big old cave, and there's another entrance, I think, that comes through the ceiling of his main chamber. If we'd have to find it's underwater. It seems like it's a waterfall down there, so probably a whirlpool or something from up top. But I also don't think it gives us much of an advantage.
To go in the way you went? I don't think we can go that way.
To go in through the water part, because it would be hard to get back out of, and it just drops straight from the ceiling into his kind of main den.
Well, do you think it would be a better idea to lure him out so he's not in his territory? Maybe someone.
I don't know. It seems like he's really fast, at least out here.
Yeah.
Not to say that he can't do that down there, but down there he definitely looked relaxed and comfortable and lazy. Like the way he's been described as moving out here when he's attacking. But I managed to dodge out of his jaws down there, and he was just kind of lounging. So maybe we would get the element of surprise a little bit, but
Maybe.
by luring him out here, you just wait for him to fly back out. And
Yeah.
Like whenever he goes to do his dragon errands, whatever he does.
go to the dragon store.
Yeah.
The dragon dry cleaners,
Yeah, got some errands to run. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys
What do
think?
y'all think?
How easy would it be to get down the main entrance for us, Chomp?
Well, I mean, it's really simple if you're a bat.
What if you're not a bat?
Oh, it seemed to be pretty. It was a pretty long way down.
Like equipment,
Yeah,
like
ropes and
claw things.
claw things. Yeah, maybe it'd be a lot of climbing, rappelling. Getting back out's gonna be hard. There was a whole bunch of little side tunnels I didn't go down, but they don't. I mean, that's just a maze of tunnels.
I have an idea. Remember when we were studying those dinosaur skeletons and you came up with the idea of the T-Rex? Wasn't there a giant flying bird that we could all sit on and you
Yeah.
could change into?
Would that be the shoe?
There's some giant like Quetzalcoatl's and pteranodon style things.
What about a pterodactyl?
Yeah, or yeah, maybe build like a little basket that y'all could ride in on
We
the
don't
back.
have
Or
time.
what? Well, I have a spell called Fabricate that I could instantly create something simple like that out of raw materials.
Now you can track it too, though, right, maybe?
Oh yeah, now that I've seen it, I can use my locate creature, and that would at least tell us if it's somewhere else.
I have a question. Having seen the dragon, could you not turn into a dragon?
I cannot.
Okay, well there that goes.
Dragons are their own thing. I'm there aren't many restrictions on my polymorph abilities. Pretty much the only one is it's got to be a beast.
Fair enough.
It was an idea to maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I can, dragon-like things like flying reptiles and such, but Chrome. No? Okay.
Do these flying reptiles offer much of a threat to the dragon?
Alone, probably not. From what I saw down there and from what we know about dragons, I don't think they view much of anything as a threat. Yeah, but I don't know if they are threatened by much. They're pretty apex.
All right.
I mean, when we tried to fight that red dragon that one time, I want to say we've leveled up once since then, or no? So like we are a little bit stronger than that time. I'm trying to judge whether a full frontal assault.
I think a full frontal assault is always probably going to be a bad idea, but it may also be the most feasible idea.
Yeah, I mean, what else are we gonna do? I think the black dragon might be compared to a red dragon. Red dragons are scarier, right?
Did it seem like the black dragon was bigger or smaller than the red dragon we encountered?
I don't know. What kind of estimation comparison did I get on that?
It's definitely it is smaller than the red dragon that you encountered. Now, black dragons in general are smaller than red dragons, so you're not sure, about anything past that, but it is smaller than the red dragon. The ancient red dragon that you had fought.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I feel like we're a level higher, and it's not an ancient red dragon, so maybe we have a shot at just hitting it until it stops being alive.
Well, shall we buff the barbarian and send it in?
No.
It's worked before.
As long as it doesn't start flying out of your reach.
All right. So, what's the plan?
I mean, so if we wait for it to come back out, how would we stop it from just it seemed like when it left when it gets out of there, it's just like a blur. Like it just shoots out of that hole and it moves really fast. So I don't know
Maybe
how
we could hang out right next to the entrance and get a
as
shot
soon
at
as it's
Mary
coming, just,
fire on it.
yeah. I feel like I now that I'm thinking of all of the obstacles of getting down there and getting back out and it being its lair, I feel like fighting it out here would be better. It's got more room to fly, but I could make a flying barbarian out of you, Crom.
I mean, that's true. All right.
There you go. A raging barbarian on the back of a pterodactyl.
Yes.
This sounds like a painting I've seen once.
Definitely like a metal album cover.
Yeah, definitely.
Laser beams, eyes.
That is very metal. Okay, so
Yeah, I say we set up like a little ambush at the mouth of the hole.
okay.
You guys down?
Sounds good.
Hell yeah.
I would like to just circle back to what Roland said earlier about if it leaves and we see it leave, what is to stop us from going inside and looking for a scale and then trying to catch it unawares?
Because it's hard to get down there.
That's fair.
It's a yeah, I mean I don't remember exactly, but it sounded like it took like a number of minutes for me to fly down to the part of the cave that it levels out on.
That's fine.
Well,
I'm completely fine fighting it out here.
there was about 100 feet of vertical sinkhole before, that's very wide before you got down to a level spot. Yeah. So you'd have to climb down 100 feet.
And then also climb back out.
Yes.
That's a lot of opportunities to fail climbing rolls.
I'm fine ambushing it out here.
Yeah, so I guess we can take the day to set up and prepare a strategy for buffs and debuffs.
Okay. All right. Cool. Spending the day kind of strategizing and stuff like that for buffs and debuffs and such. Is anybody going to keep watch?
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody needs to set up keep eyes on the entrance that we know about.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Cool. Roll your perception. Yeah, that word. Sorry.
11.
11. Okay. It is boring. It's boring work watching a hole in the ground. But you do it because it's important. And throughout the day, going about trying to figure out how you're going to set things up and where people are going to set up and getting the lay of the land. At one point, you do start to hear something below. This kind of loud scratching kind of noise. And then you hear something that sounds almost like somebody shaking out a tarp. Or like sails luffing in the wind on a ship. I mean, even with an 11, it's hard to miss when you start hearing the flapping wings of a black dragon start to come from inside the hole.
Guys,
Can I please?
it is coming.
Rope trick. Rope trick. Do a rope trick, dude.
Do y'all want to
Well-
hide? What are you doing?
Yeah, rope
I mean,
trick.
isn't this our moment? Are we supposed to like
I
do a thing?
Sure.
Now you don't want to attack?
Can anyone hold this creature in place with magics?
I don't know, but you all have about 30 seconds.
I do not feel like we should. Krum, I'm ashamed of you. Why are you choosing to run now?
I prepare slow.
Okay.
Prepare what?
Slow.
Slow, just like I'm holding it as an action for as soon as I see a ruffle of black leathery scaliness, I'm firing it off.
I'm going to prepare. I'm going to put on my mask, and I am going to draw a pinch of sulfur from a bag, and I'm going to prepare flame strike. So whenever he pops slow, I'm going to pop that.
Okay.
And I'm preparing Mind Speak.
All right.
And I
I'd
say,
also like to
"Call
give.
Mind spike and slow. Okay. All right. Anybody preparing anything else?
I'm gonna I'm gonna finally use this. I'm gonna use my serpent venom on my arrow,
Okay.
and it's lethal if it hits.
Your serpent venom.
Yeah, I bought that many, many months ago.
Oh yeah.
I don't even remember where I bought it. I've had it for so many months.
Yeah, they have to. It's a DC 11 Constitution saving throw,
Okay.
isn't it? I think.
I don't know. All I've got is on blade lethal arrow. I mean, yeah.
I'm not sure. Let me make sure of this.
Okay.
I'm going to give the metal child my crossbow and tell him to just get behind a tree, out of the way, and stay there.
Okay. All right. Which he does real quick. Margaret, so the serpent venom does 3 d6 damage, poison damage. But they have to make that saving throw. Or half as much.
Okie doke.
If they succeed, it's half as much.
Okay.
All right. So, but you're preparing that. All right. Crom, you gonna prepare anything? It's you can hear it coming up, like flapping wings and scratching talons coming up the side.
I'm just gonna get out my living here and yeah, the special stuff with my indicator. I think I can't. I have to concentrate, and I can't do that if I'm raging. So I'm not gonna do that.
Can I, do I have time to do something else?
You might. I mean, it's almost to the top here, and you're holding a spell, but
Yeah, okay, I'll wait.
yeah. So Kristen, what was that?
I was gonna try to do the Vindicator, the aura of wisdom, but
Yes.
I read that it takes concentration. So if I do that, I can't rage. So I'll just rage instead of that. So I'll go into a rage.
Okay. Let me see something. I mean, I don't know that rage is concentration necessarily. Oh yeah, you can't cast or concentrate a spell while raging. Yep. So that's right. Okay. So you're gonna rage then? All right. This could have gone a lot of different ways. And this is the way it's going. So as you all watch, just
I only saw it going this way, but
Down.
I would recommend that everybody please back up.
Okay, I'll go back up. I'll go back up. There.
yeah, I'd say we wouldn't be like right on the edge of the hole.
No.
yeah, just like hello.
Yeah, like putting our head over the edge.
Okay, so as you all are backing up, as you all are kind of hunkered down in the underbrush and stuff, you see first the head and wings, and then the whole body of a very large black dragon come over the side and just kind of almost hover there. And as it does, it says in this low, growling voice, "I came to invite you in." And
Is he speaking in common or?
he's speaking in common. And that's where I'm going to leave it this week because it's almost 5. I'm sorry. But I wrote down everything everybody's holding, so.
That was a great game.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys. That was
He
fun.
disarmed us with politeness. I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
I kind of feel guilty because I was.
Flame Strike is no, like, joke.
If it stays still, it's very, very effective.
Yeah. That's true. And slow, I mean, that would at least burn a legendary resistance.
Because it's 46 fire and then 46 radiant.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so next time we're going to pick up from there with this nice, polite black dragon. I don't know why you guys are being so mean to him.
You know, all the dragons that we actually talked to, that one blue one, not so bad.
This is not the time for continued aggression. This is clearly a time for unity to bring, like, heal the nation, bring us back together. It's always the adventurer's fault.
Yeah,
But what happens to my spell?
I mean, you're still holding it if you want. I mean, we're going to say that, you were holding until he came. He said that you can decide if you release it or not next time.
Not ready?
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah,
Alright.
thank
Take it
you.
easy.
Is everybody good for 2 weeks from now?
Should be.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, okay, cool. All right, awesome.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye, guys.